Saw rated R in theaters October 27th.
Yeah, because Halloween should begin 4 days before the actual day, which, I mean, I get that's what Saw's, usual box office strategy was in the past, but, yeah, this one didn't really benefit from that because people only had 4 days to go see it, and they knew they only had this weekend because of the big thing that was coming out next week. But, welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. It is October 27th, 2017, and we got 3 movies to look at today. Not a whole lot of good stuff again this week. It's kind of a slow week for new things. Case in point with our first movie, it is Jigsaw. It's the 8th installment of the Saw film series. I guess Lionsgate saw that Paranormal Activity was no longer the hot shit anymore, and they basically said, all right, guys, it's our turn to go back and to bring Halloween back to us. We own Halloween once again, and they got the Speed Brothers, who gave us Daybreakers, to come in here and do this, and needless to say, the excitement for this one was not as good as the last one was, but yeah, it was pretty clear that Saw kind of had long been past its prime at this point. The plot follows a group of people who find themselves forced to participate in a series of deadly games inside of a barn. Meanwhile, the police investigate a new series of murders that fit the modus operandi of the eponymous Jigsaw killer, once again played by Tobin Bell, who's been dead for almost a decade. Revolutionary stuff, I know. It's like we've never had this done before, except for every other Saw movie in the series, and that's kind of the biggest problem with this movie overall. It's the fact that, it's just the same stuff we've seen done over and over and over again. They really don't add anything new to this, except how creative can the kills be in this, where, yeah, the other movies at least were creative with the other kills, but this one just felt like we're basically just doing the same thing over and over again. Like this review, it's the same thing over and over again. And even at its small runtime of an hour and a half, it drags on, and there is no... I mean, the thrill of the Saw films in general was the creative twist and the story and the mystery behind Jigsaw. And really, you don't give a shit about either one of these things in this particular movie. And that really is something where it's just kind of like you can't really get invested in it anymore at this point. And it's just it's sad, because these movies can be fun for how creative the traps are, but in this case, yeah, and unfortunately just falls into the same predictable territory we've seen done to death millions of times, and it's just not fun, man. It's just not fun. The Saw franchise was pretty much dead at this point. They've tried other attempts to try to bring it back, specifically with Spiral from the Book of Saw, which was a noble effort, but not the greatest one overall. And hell, the best one they've done is Saw X, and even then, people were just kind of like, yeah, we really don't give a shit about the Saw franchise anymore at this point. Even though that is probably the best sequel since Saw 2, probably. Probably Saw 2 or Saw 3, maybe Saw 2, but, yeah, Jigsaw, yeah, it was pretty much dead on arrival at this point, So let's get to the one good movie of the weekend, and even then, it's not really saying a whole lot, but it's another movie with Miles Teller in it, coming off of Only the Brave. This is Thank You for Your Service.
Soldier, I had purpose, and I loved it.
That's on digital January 9th.
Which, in essential, is Universal's answer to American Sniper. It even has the same writer of American Sniper who's making his directorial debut on it. And this is based off the novel by David Finkel. Finkel writes about veterans of the 2nd Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, returning to the vicinity of Fort Riley, Kansas, and following an 50-month deployment in Iraq in 2007. And the film is about post-traumatic stress disorder, depicting U.S. soldiers who try to adjust to civilian life, with Miles Teller as the lead guy in here, along with Haley Bennett, and also Amy Schumer in here has a role in a very, very dramatic performance, which is actually not that bad for this particular movie overall. All the performances in here are really good. This is actually a pretty solid film overall, but you could definitely tell it's trying to mimic something like Born on the 4th of July, with a poster even looking like it's Miles Teller trying to do Born on the 4th of July, except this doesn't really have a whole lot to do with it, except the fact that the poster and some of the ideas of it very much are very similar. It's like the whole idea of coming back after the war, and, it's one of those weird movies where, we had a movie like this about 10 years before this came out, called Stop Loss, which was seen as kind of something that was coming way too early, way too soon. But now this movie's out, and most people were just kind of like, it's way too late to do this type of stuff here. So when is the exact moment to tell a story like this overall? Maybe, was it around American Sniper? Probably, but like I said, this is a really good movie, man. It really does show, Miles Teller does have a lot of acting range overall, and you get to see people doing performances that you don't usually see. Again, Amy Schumer has a really good dramatic turn in this movie that very is outside of her territory and outside of her norm here. And it's a shame that this movie didn't do that great, because like with Only the Brave, it was a great movie. It got well received by critics, but audiences were just kind of like turning the way overall. Like, they would rather go and see Boo 2 and Medea Halloween and Jigsaw than watch movies like this. And I mean, maybe I get it because it's not a movie that is made for the mass appeal overall, and maybe that's the biggest problem overall, but then again, we see a lot of movies like this, but they don't get the big push like this. I mean, this didn't get the big push like something like A Born on the 4th of July did, or something like An American Sniper. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It is a really good movie, though. It's one that I do recommend checking out if you haven't seen it. Thank you for your service. A really good film overall. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, and that's George Clooney's latest directorial effort, and that is Suburbicon.
This town is falling apart. Suburbicon, rated R, October 27.
And you could pretty much tell from the trailer why this one was a huge flop, both critically and financially, because it's kind of all over the place when you really think about it. The movie follows a mild-mannered father in 1959 who must face his demons after a home invasion, all while a black family moves into the all-white neighborhood. The black family storyline is loosely based on a 1957 incident in Levittown, Pennsylvania, in which a black family moved into the previously all-white neighborhood, leading to racism and violence against the family. Matt Damon is the lead in here, and you also have Julianne Moore and Oscar Isaac in here. And this is directed by George Clooney. George Clooney's first big directorial effort since The Monuments Men, which was another big disappointment from him. I mean, the guy isn't a bad director. He's directed some stuff I really like Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Leatherheads, The Ides of March. But yeah, there was a point after that where it just felt like he was really struggling as a director as a whole. And not only that, you got a script written by Joel and Ethan Coen. It's written by Grant Heslov, who's worked with Clooney a lot. And really the biggette problem with the movie is that there's just way too much going on. It just has a problem of what kind of a movie it wants to be. It's trying to... Rotten Tomatoes kind of sums it up with their critical consensus. It's trying to juggle social satire, racial commentary, and a murder mystery all into one, but it doesn't have a tone. It doesn't have an idea of what the direction is, and it's a movie that is trying way too hard to be obvious about its message overall. It's unsubtle in the worst possible way ever, and the actors overall are really kind of wasted in this. There's really not a whole lot going on from all of them. And it's funny because Matt Damon has another movie from Paramount coming out later in the year with Downsizing that is very similar to this movie here. A movie that has a lot of interesting ideas, but just way too much going on. Too many cooks in the kitchen, pretty much, with a film like this. Yeah, it's just a mixed bag of a movie, man. It's trying, but it's trying way too hard and not focusing on the stuff that should matter, like picking a tone for your overall movie here. And it just really just goes all over the place, and it just didn't work. It's a movie that should have been so much better with the talent involved, not just with the acting, but the director, the writers, and this is just a complete waste of time and just a waste of potential overall. It just didn't work. It just really did not work. A big misfire with Suburbicon, to say the least, that's for certain. And thus, with all that said, we'll wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies, and it's that magical time of the year again. It's the first weekend of November, and that means the holiday movie season is on, baby. And we got our first big holiday release here with Taika Waititi coming into the Thor franchise and basically giving it the revitalization that it definitely needed after Thor: The Dark World, Thor: Ragnarok. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the Christmas sequel nobody was asking for, but STX had a success and they wanted a sequel, so here's a Bad Moms Christmas. Why? I don't know why. A lot of people don't know why. It's not only, and keep in mind that this isn't the first of two Christmas sequels that didn't need to exist overall. We'll get to the other one the following week. We also have LBJ, the movie about Lyndon B. Johnson, Greta Gerwig's directorial effort, Lady Bird. And we also have a new film from Richard Linklater, which is unusual from him overall, Last Flag Flying, which features, who's it feature? Steve Carell, Lawrence Fishburne, and I believe Bryan Cranston? I think he is in this. In fact, I'm 100% sure he is, but I could be wrong on that too, even though I just said 100%. But we'll take a look at that. So what do we got here? We got Thor: Ragnarok, Bad Moms Christmas, LBJ, Lady Bird, and Last Flag Flying. 5 films to take a look at next time on the show. That, of course, will be tomorrow. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.